Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Jon Gaunt podcast. What a day. This is an extra one because there's been this cabinet reshuffle. It's basically the cabinet of the useless, isn't it? Starmer's chaos. Rayner has gone at last. David Lammy is in. He's now Deputy Prime Minister. There's a political meltdown going on. I wrote this tweet earlier, which kind of sums it up. Good evening, by the way. Whatever Keir Starmer is smoking, I want some. He's just made useless Yvette Cooper MP the Foreign Secretary. Trump and Putin will eat her for breakfast. They certainly will. Why don't you just resign, Starmer, and let's get a real government led by Nigel Farage? You are clueless. Is that too harsh, or do you agree with me? What an absolute laughingstock he's making us in the country. Spineless. That's what he is. He should have sorted out Angela Rayner days ago. Instead, he left the initiative to her. Of course, she's been axed. Of course, she's been sacked. She was fiddling her stamp duty. But this reshuffle, it's even worse than I thought it could have been. It's a total circus, a total farce. A circus is a good way to describe it, because David Lammy being the Foreign Secretary was bonkers enough. But now to make him the Deputy Prime Minister, he's also in charge of housing. I do wonder, somebody said to me earlier on a tweet, maybe Trump has said he wants that because he couldn't stand him. I don't know. If it was Trump's influence, surely Trump would have told him to sack himself, because that's what we need. This is what Starmer doesn't realise. The problem isn't other people, you idiot. It's you. Sack yourself, because you are leading us to hell in a handcart. And then we've got Yvette Cooper. Everybody, even if you were on her side politically, you've got to accept she's failed to stop the small boats. She's failed to stop the migration chaos. Has she got kind of metaphorical blood on her hand for some of the sexual assaults that have happened? We were only talking about this yesterday. That person should never have been in a hotel here in our country for 8 days, broke in illegally, and then committed 5 sexual assault offences. There's other ones going through the courts at the moment. No one's in charge. As I keep saying, if you got the dinghy, could you say where each one of them, well, not each one of them, just one or two of them, where they're from? No, you couldn't, because nobody knows. And they're playing, here we go again, Russian roulette with our kids and our daughters, our sisters, our mums. Will it be any better now, though? He's put Mahmood in charge. She's the woman who let out all the rapists and the criminals just recently, because the prisons are full. Build more prisons. Why can't Labour see what the problems are? So Yvette Cooper, complete failure. She's now being promoted to represent us on the world stage. Can you imagine her turning up at the White House or at the Kremlin? She'll be wearing, obviously, her Union Jack underwear, because she told us she's such a patriot, yeah? And if you believe that, then I'm going to win Slimmer of the Year. She'd turn up there and she will get eaten up and spat out. She can't be. It's nothing to do with her being a woman. It's everything to do with her being fucking useless. What a joke appointment. Then we've got the woman at the Home Office now. She's the one who let all the thousands of criminals out early. Do you remember them coming out of prison, sticking the V's up, champagne, rollers, Ferraris, picking them up? They were just taking the mick out of us. And then when you think, well, what else has he done wrong today? Well, how about Rachel Reeves? She's the only one who's keeping her job. She's the only one who's kept her job. But in about 3 or 4 weeks' time, when the IMF get involved, or she puts everybody's taxes up, he'll have to boot her, won't he? Because she's already damaged goods. I did wonder whether she gave the advice to Rayner about the tax position and about the council, not the council tax, the, what do you call it? What do you call it? It's not, you know what I mean, the £40,000. If it wasn't her, somebody else told me it was Diane Abbott. She's very good with finances and adding things up. We shouldn't laugh, though. We are in a really bad position. Rachel Reeves is staying as the Chancellor. David Lammy is now number 2 in Britain. And Starmer looks like he's writing the longest political suicide note in history. Just before I came on, somebody put a tweet up for me which basically said, is he a secret agent for reform? Well, it certainly looks like he's handing the keys to Nigel Farage on a silver platter. So tonight we're going to discuss this. I want your opinion. I think it's absolutely ludicrous. I just don't know what planet he's on. Like I say, is he on the wacky backy? It feels like he must be on crack with some of these decisions. Absolute madness. Stamp duty, John Boy, says Craig Urquhart. Thank you, Craig. You can see my head's been all over the place today sorting this out. Thank you for helping me out. Let's just take a step back. Just take a step back. Because today, of course, it's been Reform's party conference in Birmingham. I thought it was excellently staged. I watched bits of it on the telly. And Farage, this is how good Farage is. He was meant to speak at 4. He pulled it back to 1 o'clock once he heard that Rayner had gone. And thank God Rayner has gone. But he let her stay on for too long. She was banged to rights financially 7 days ago. He should have booted her then. Show some bloody leadership, Starmer, you spineless amoeba. But he didn't. So she went today. So then I suppose they were hoping that would mess up Reform's conference. But all Farage did was bring his speech back earlier and crack a few jokes at Lammy's, not at Lammy's expense, at that point, at, what's her name? Angela Rayner's expense. Or expenses, should it be? It was a tour de force, right? And then there was other bits that were crazy, like that Andrea Jenkins. God, I can't stand her. She came on singing wearing a glitter suit. I don't know what that was about. But I thought he was great. And then he came back on again about 4 o'clock this afternoon. And did you see what happened? There were 3 protesters who'd obviously got tickets, pretended they were Reform members, and basically started giving him some grief. And his security dealt with it brilliantly. But even better, Farage did. He had a line for them. He just took the mickey. And then it happened again, and his lads sorted it out again, and he made another joke. But he didn't get put off. That's because he's got charisma. He's got talent. And that's because he is a natural-born leader. I'm more convinced than ever. So why doesn't Starmer just resign himself? Just resign, you useless idiot, and give somebody a chance to run our country before you run it into the ground. If you think I'm being unfair, please let me know. If you're liking what I'm saying, press the like button on the video or on your podcast if you're listening on a podcast. And don't forget to support me by just clicking the little $sign and donating a few quid. I'm sure I deserve it today. I did 2 yesterday, 2 podcasts yesterday, doing 1 today. We're going to have about 10 by the end of the week. You'll be ODing on Gaunty if you're lucky. But anyway, if you want to contribute, do that, or go to www.buymeacoffee.com. Got to say a big thank you to Valentine today. He's a big fan, and he chucks in a coffee or 2 every few weeks. Really appreciated, Valentine. Thank you very much indeed. And that's how you get your name on the list as well underneath me. So let's look at this again. I'm just going to go through the main points again, and then you can have your say as well. Not that. Sorry, I've just clicked up the thing I didn't want to see at the moment. Wait a minute. Right, where is it? There it is. Right. So Rayner's gone, but Starmer's reshuffle's absolutely clueless. He sacked her at last. But why would you make David Lammy deputy leader and deputy prime minister. It's got to be voted through as well, but not the deputy prime minister, just the deputy leader of the Labour Party. So he's now number 2, technically. Did you see him walking into Downing Street? He's like the cat that's got the cream. What it means is he's now in charge of the biscuit budget. Do you remember the fat git spent £7,000 allegedly on Jaffa cakes just for one meeting? How could you elevate him? He's a buffoon. He's also the man who called Donald Trump a member of the KKK, although last time he went, he was right up his backside, wasn't he? Last time he went there. But he's the man who was happy, along with Khan, to put up the blimp the first time he came on a state visit. But then he becomes best mates with J.D. Vance, or allegedly. But I think Trump might have put the boot in and said, get rid of him. But they won't like the replacement, Yvette Cooper. So she's rewarded for being a total and utter failure. I tell you what's going on here. He's running this government as if he works for the BBC. In the BBC, you get promoted to your level of mediocrity. That's why there are so many presenters who are rubbish who become managers of local radio stations. It's true what I'm saying. And then higher up it goes. There comes a point and you're going to be crap at that job, but you can do it. That's how the BBC think. Well, that's obviously how Starmer's thinking as well. As I say, Trump and Putin will eat Cooper for breakfast. And then, to replace Yvette Cooper, he must have really scratched his head and thought, who would wind up the British public more than Yvette Cooper? I know, Mahmood, the woman who let everybody out of the prisons. Let's put her in there. She can do that gig. And so that's what's happened. He's totally clueless. Because then he leaves Rachel Reeves as the Chancellor. Everybody knows she's fucked up the economy and is continuing to do so. Why has he left her in position? Because it's not even like he's not willing to confront it. By doing that, he knows he's going to have hassle further down the line and have another reshuffle. And people today are saying it's just like shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic. It's worse than that. At least the captain of the Titanic went down with the ship. At least they had some music playing. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. He's got a political death wish. And this, what he's writing at the moment, is the longest political suicide note in history. He's just handed the keys, finally, to Nigel Farage. Well, why don't you go the whole way now? Give us a general election. We'll put you out of your misery, because if you were a dog, somebody would have done it already, metaphorically speaking. And you move on, Starmer. You go and do whatever you want to do. Run the WEF, work for the EU, whatever you want to do. But get out of our lives. Get a life and get out of ours. So that's what we're talking about. Starmer, Labour Party chaos, Angela Rayner. I'm comparing and contrasting what Starmer's done today with what Farage has achieved. In the same kind of period, he's built a whole political party. And he is going to be the next Prime Minister. And they are going to be the next government. Aren't they? Got a different view? I want to hear it. What about Yvette Cooper? What about Rachel Reeves? It's cabinet chaos. I wrote a little tweet saying, unlike IKEA, this cabinet is missing many more screws than just one. You know, when you buy something from IKEA, there's always one bit missing, isn't there? Or it could be other furniture stores. Anyway, what the hell are we going to do? And meanwhile, the small boats keep coming. Meanwhile, Putin keeps threatening us. Meanwhile, Trump is building his country and making America great again. We're having political meltdown. We're going to hell in a handcart. And Starmer hasn't got a clue. Are you with me or are you against me? Hear that aeroplane going over? I've got the back door open. I'm right near Bryce Norton, so you might hear a few jets coming in. Although, knowing Starmer, he'll probably take us to war next just to divert things away from this. Right, here we go then. Let's get going. Evangelina Mercado. God save the land, United Kingdom, the Son of God Almighty, God, Jesus Christ, Amen. I think you've got the wrong channel, love, but thank you for your contribution. Today is a good day, says Jackie Ward. Labour are falling apart. The reshuffle is a joke, though. I can't believe that Lammy is now the Deputy Prime Minister. He's clueless, but it is the beginning of the end for Labour. I certainly think it's the beginning of the end of the beginning, perhaps, but we've still got a long way to go. I think Lammy's in charge of justice as well. Yes, you're right, Greg. You're right. That's brilliant, isn't it? That's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? What a brilliant appointment. Bit sad, really, how Starmer hasn't got a clue. They should change his name to Kevin. Why Kevin? Why? I don't get that. Oh, because his first... No, yeah, his first name, Keir. Yeah, is it Kevin? I don't know. That's too hard for me, that one, Ronnie. Right back and explain to me. Not Calamity Lammy, says Mark Anderson. I like that. I'm going to nick that. Thank you very much indeed. The Politics blog. The HMS Labour Party is sinking and Starmer is rearranging the deck chairs. You know what's funny about that? Ages ago, I said that Starmer was sinking and it was like the Titanic. And I made up a great... well, I didn't do it. AI did it. I did this thing for my thing of him with a life raft around it. And then suddenly loads of people started using the same image, but for other politicians. But it's never been truer, has it? It is like the Titanic. And he's driven it. But see, with the Titanic, they didn't then go, oh, there's an iceberg. They did try to change track. Not this twat. He goes, oh, there's an iceberg. Full steam ahead. And then he's the first in the lifeboat, isn't he, with the women? I just think I just can't work out what he's doing. That's what's beginning to annoy me now. Lammy, the village idiot, he should stick to mastermind. He was brilliant on that, wasn't he? Didn't he get every question wrong? I tell you what, though, I love watching that program. But I bet you when you're in that seat, it is a lot more difficult. To be fair, Ronnie, I'm trying to be fair. I can see clearly now the rain has gone, says Carl Eves. Carl, you're funny. That's good. If I gave away prizes, you'd get one for that. I can see clearly now the rain has gone. But you can't. You can't see clearly now because he's replaced her with other people who are just as dumb, just as stupid, just as ideologically and politically naive. Do you remember when they told us the grown-ups have taken over? Do you remember that? It isn't, is it? It's like Viz Comic. It's like Militant, the woman in that. Do you remember her? It's like her and all her mates, and maybe a bit of Wolfie Smith. Freedom for Putin. They're running the government. That's what it feels like. Hear that plane? There's another one. Maybe we have invaded somewhere. All the planes are taking off from Rise Norton. Maybe that's why they want to test the alarm system next week. I can't get my head around that. Does anybody understand that? All our mobile phones are going to ring next week. Do they know something that they haven't told us? Bonkers. Denise Deacon, hello, Denise. When we thought the Labour Party couldn't get any worse, we were wrong. I must admit, I've had one of those earworms today. Do you remember the song with Blair? Things can only get better from now on, that song. Yeah, do you remember? Huh? I don't think so. Things are just getting terrible. I was thinking of the Ruts. We're in a rut. We can't get out of it. Was that them? I think it was. Or how about well, who wrote that song? I gotta get out of here if it's the last thing I ever do. Eddie and the Hot Rods, I think. Anyway, who knows? But I'll tell you what, there will be soon. Sex Pistols, Anarchy in the UK. Boom, boom. I'm here all night. Let's take another one. Stamp duty, John. But oh yeah, that's the one I read out earlier when I couldn't remember it. Mark Whittingham says he will ruin the UK even more. More. Thank you. John, who's in charge of justice, says Craig. Well, you told me that earlier. It's Lammy, I think. What's this one? A right-wing party with a right-wing opposition. If we get that by, I'm out of this country so fast. I don't really understand what you mean, mate. Are you talking about if Farage takes over? I tell you what, he couldn't do any worse. I'd give him the keys to number 10 tomorrow. Ricky Gibby says, a shit show. I think he's talking about the government, not me. If you talk about me, get out of here. But thank you very much indeed. All right. Anybody want to donate tonight? I'm doing an extra show. Come on. Just push the little $ sign and donate a few pounds. Or if you're in America, you can donate Dollars. Yeah, simple as that. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. I've enjoyed being here this week at my daughter's, and I'm enjoying doing a show every day or even a couple. It just gives you a bit more breadth for what you want to talk about. I don't think I'll do anything tomorrow, by the way. I think I'm just going to literally chill out, if that's all right with you. Graham Hatton, if there was anyone still left in the country who thought that Starmer was a competent leader, then today is the day that reality would have finally set in for them. The words deck chairs, Titanic spring to mind. Everyone's saying it, Graham, and everyone's saying it because that's how it feels. He's an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment. Madness. Not only to the... See, it's Friday. It's Poets' Day. Not only to the country, but to himself. It's time he slung his hook, John. I agree with you, but he's not going to. Greg Galvin says, afternoon, John. Afternoon, my friend. Thank you for joining in. Johnny Roberts, there he is. Look, he's a fantastic superstar of a fan. He says, join me in having a beer, John, as Starmer has smashed his government. He has. Yeah, I think I will be having I'll probably have an Italian. No, I'll have a Spanish lager that's brewed in Yorkshire tonight, maybe. A Madrid. I'm staying in tonight because the dog's not being... No, that's the other bloody worry, isn't it? You know when you look after a hamster and the hamster dies on the first day, your neighbour's thing, or goldfish. So it's not too bad. You just nip down the shop and you buy another goldfish, you put it in, hope they don't notice. Same with a hamster. It's a bit more difficult to do that with a fucking dog, isn't it? And he's not being well. He's been off his food. So me, like the soft lad I am, I went and bought him chicken. At 8 o'clock this morning, I'm cooking chicken for the dog. Can you believe it? What am I turning into? I'll get in Starmer's cabinet the way I'm going. Ludicrous. It's a dog. But he's got these big soulful eyes, and he looks at me and says, Gaunty, I'm not very well. I think he's playing me. I think he is playing me, but I don't want to take the risk. Where the fuck am I going to find a dog like that before my daughter gets back? And also, I'd hate it as well because I love him to bits. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, John, join me in having a beer as Starmer has smashed his own government. Johnny Roberts just chucked in a $5. You can do it as well. Just click on the $sign. Thank you, Johnny. Kalku. Jon Gaunt sending loving, healing vibes and intentions to the universe. Oh, that's a nice feeling. But again, I think you got the wrong show. But never mind. Great to see you, says Malthus13. More Jon Gaunt, please. Well, there'll be more Jon Gaunt, but have you put any money in the pot? I can't keep doing it for nout. Easy to do. Just click that little thing down there. Where are we now? That's Johnny Roberts. Greg says, with this new Home Secretary, we are so fucked. I want out. Yeah, I know the feeling. The woman who let everybody, well, not everybody, but she let over 1,000 cons out of prison. Do you remember them all sitting on top of Ferraris and rollers, sticking 2 fingers up or 1 finger up, drinking champagne? Do you remember that? Those pictures? And they've just released a load more. But now she's going to be in charge of the small boat crisis. So does that give you confidence that she's going to sort out any of these foreigners who turn out to be rapists or whatever else? Does that give you any confidence that that man, that monster, that beast will get deported? I mean, I said yesterday he's going to be deported, but because of what's happened today, he'll disappear from the headlines. And also, did you know they can only deport you if you've already got a sentence of over 12 months? So, you know, in namby-pamby, he assaulted these girls, right? He didn't rape them. Sounds like I'm making excuses for him. So he probably won't even get 12 months. If he doesn't get 12 months, he can't be deported. What a stupid situation is that? The guy is a beast. I'd string him up by his ghoulies. But no, he's going to get the soft touch. And it's all going to disappear anyway. And then they're going to put more of them in homes of multiple occupation. Did you see that? There's more of them in homes of multiple occupation than in hotels. What the hell? This is Great Britain. We liberated Europe. I keep telling you this twice. We beat Adolf Hitler. Can't we beat a couple of blokes getting in wearing flip-flops? I'd club them to death with the flip-flops. I'm not advocating violence. It's a metaphorical image. Farage is on a roll. He thinks there'll be a general election in 2027. Yeah, I saw that. I thought, no, it'll be earlier than that. Ronnie Hurst, still too far away, whatever that means. My Monjaro journey. Thank you. Is that what you're on? I hope it's doing you well. I miss listening to you on the radio. You're brilliant. Miss your Jaguar talk. You should have written it like I said it. It's a Jaguar. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm glad that you're with me and you enjoy my show. That's really makes me feel good when people say things like that. Thank you. Because I still think I'm pretty good. But I can't get arrested, let alone get a gig. So we've got to make this work. I've told you, Lisa's at home with the audit sheet. She'll phone me straight after the show. How many? How many people donated? And so far, all I can say is 1. Oh, no, I can't. Now I can say there's 2. Look at that. Craig Urquhart's put a £5 in as well. Craig, thank you very much indeed. That's a tenner. That's brilliant. Getting me back in the good books a little bit. Is there a Z in the month? I might have a chat. No. Anyway, can you believe they promoted that Mahmood to Home Secretary? She's a clever girl, a clever woman, by all accounts. But anyway, now she did well when she pushed back against the sentencing guidelines of treating ethnic minorities. Yeah, that's true. Let's talk about some of the positives. She did do that. However, you watch the boat streaming on her watch. She loves having photos in front of the Palestinian flag. Is that true? She's not an Islamist, is she? He wouldn't be as stupid to do it. I don't know enough about her. So, Carl, if you can produce evidence of that, attach it and send it in. I'll be very interested to see that. There's Craig Urquhart again. He's put a £5 in. Thank you. Howdy, John. Howdy, folks, says Charlie Barton. Are you American, Charlie? I hope you are. If you live in somewhere like Stockport, I'll be quite disappointed. Where are we now? Lammy was so far up Donald's backside, he could see him brushing his teeth. Yeah, he was when he went this time, wasn't he? But before, he said he was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. These people are morons. They're absolutely... Somebody, you know, the chap who did Father Ted, who's having all that trouble at the moment. I hope he gets over this and then he writes a satire about this government and what we've lived through, you know, where men can suddenly say, no, I'm a woman, even though they haven't had it chopped off, right? And then they can go in women's change rooms. And if you dare to say you think that's wrong, you get arrested, not the bloke with the cock in the front, you. It'd be a hit, wouldn't it? I think so, anyway. Carl Eves, you haven't put a message on that one. Michael Yorks. It's like the cast of Little Britain is in charge. Michael Yates. That's a brilliant one. Thank you, Michael. June Priest Cooper. Just when you think things couldn't get any worse, along comes the reshuffle. I know it's weird, isn't it? Because like yesterday, we were saying, you know, got to get rid of Angela Rayner. But then myself included, I hadn't thought it through, really. I just wanted her out. And she's gone. Thank goodness for that. Somebody said to me today, it's a mate of mine, actually, I normally go for a drink with on Friday. He said, I know you're not coming tonight, Gaunty, but how's Angela Rayner? He said, I'm worried about Angela Rayner. So I texted back and said, why? He said, well, how's she going to afford that mortgage on the £800,000 flat she just bought? Now she's not a cabinet minister. I said, oh, well, she'll probably just steal some more money off her son. That's nasty. Now, that is nasty. But she did take 160 grand off him to buy it. It still smells. Is she going to just walk away with... And is the tax man going to do her? Because surely you get done for that, don't you? I had a mate who had to move to Australia when he got in trouble with the tax man. Anyway. All of the Labour Party... I should have said that. All of the Labour Party should be sacked for what they've done to our people and our country. Yeah, but who are you going to replace them with? Do you remember how crap the Tories were? They were abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Nick Seeley says reform are a different class, and he's put 3 Union Jacks. Okay, thank you very much indeed. They certainly are playing an impressive game at the moment, and I did think Farage was good today, and I even thought that Azia Youssef was good. I can't bear that woman who's become a mayor, though. What's her name? Wearing a glitter suit, and she sang a song she'd written. It was like... I must tell you, years and years ago, I got invited to go and speak at a UKIP conference. It's before they got any real good traction. And I went with Paul Nuttall and Nigel, whatever. They put me up and I took Lisa. And it was okay, apart from it was dead amateurish. There was one point where one of their MEPs, can't remember his name, from Norfolk, they had a raffle and he'd donated like sacks of carrots or something. It was like the most bizarre thing in the world. They were talking about getting out of the EU and regaining our sovereignty and all that. And then the raffle prize, it was either carrots or cauliflowers. I just remember laughing my duck off. And Lisa said to me, what are you, no, she didn't swear, but what you brought me here for was her view. I think she had an audit sheet then as well, and I failed. Huh? I failed. I'm just seen as a failure in her eyes now. Shirley Mooney. Hello, Shirley. We want to know it. Come on, Shirley. Oh, I tell you what did happen today. Somebody got in touch with me on Facebook and said, did you go to Hill Farm? That's my junior school, infant school. I said, yes. And she said, oh, I thought you did. I did. Well, I remember your cheeky smile. I haven't got a cheeky smile. But anyway, I said, oh, what was your maiden name? Because, I presume she was married. Terribly sexist of me. And she said it was the same as this and the name she'd given me. And do you know what was embarrassing? I can't remember her. So then I said, send me your profile. So make me realise who you are. Make me, remember. But she hasn't. So it's like, why do you wind me up in the first place? I want to know who you are. They were happy days. She said she was in the nursery with me. I hope there's no deep psychological, and I hope this isn't going to be a play Misty for me situation, yeah, where one night you're going to tune in and I'm all banned and gagged, or Misery. Oh, how good's that film? Is it Misery? Stephen King? Kathy Bates? He's a DJ. No, he's a writer, isn't she? Isn't he? And she captures him in this log cabin and then breaks his hands and breaks his... Anyway, that's enough of that. I don't want to give this woman from Hill Farm any ideas. I'm only joking. I'm not going to mention your name. We want a new election. He said erection there. I thought, yes, so do I. We want a new election now and get out, Keir Starmer and all the Labour Party. Out, out, out now, says Shirley Mooney. Thank you, Shirley. Very kind of you. What do we do with the dinghy dwellers once here and we do not know their origin? I'd shoot them. But what's the proper way to deal with them, says Greg. Well, what we do, Greg, you basically find out who they are. If they say, I'm not telling you, I don't know, you say, okay, you're going to go back to the country you've just come from, the last place, because most of them have come through 7 countries. You put them back in France. And you say to France, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. But you wouldn't have to do it much. Did you hear that today as well? Farage, he actually said today, within 2 weeks of being in power, he would stop the small boats. Now, I know it sounds a bit like Trump, but unfortunately for you uber liberals, Trump did do it within a couple of weeks or a couple of months. He had stopped. It's down by 95%. Where there's a will, there's a way. So I think Farage perhaps could do it. Let's take Graham Hatton. That metaphorical Labour IKEA wardrobe you just mentioned, it was a cabinet with some screws missing, John. Well, it's got a few knobs left on it. I think it was knobs. You've written nose, but I'm pretty sure that you must mean knobs. I hate IKEA. I hate all that flat pack furniture, don't you? Huh? Only because I've got no patience. I'd never be a doctor. That's not a reshuffle, says Jason Lee Penrose. It's a doomsday device. I like that. Sometimes you lot are quite witty. Kevin Clueless. Wait a minute. Where are we? Kevin Clueless, says Ronnie Hurst. He's talking about Keir Starmer. Media is controlled by Murdoch. You are ex-paid media. How can we trust you? Right. Number 1, Michelle Claire Richards. Well, Rupert Murdoch did own the Times and he did own the Sun. You should keep up with the facts. He doesn't own either of them now. And when I worked for Murdoch, when I worked for the Sun, I was proud to work there. Do you know why? Because it was a newspaper that talked to ordinary working class people. Shall I tell you something else? I was never, ever censored. I wrote what I wanted when I did, right? I worked with some of the best journalists in the world, not just in this country. I worked there for 6.5, nearly 7 years. I'm immensely proud of it. So ex-paid media, what does that mean? What a shit expression. What does it mean? What does it mean? Am I doing that now? No. Can you point to something that I did that was propaganda? No. So why don't you grow up, Michelle Claire Richards? Just grow up or think through what you're saying, because you don't know how insulting that is. I loved working for the Sun. I liked working for Talk Sport until I called that bloke a Nazi. Yeah. I actually enjoy myself at the BBC as well. But there was more censorship at the BBC than there ever was at News International. I can tell you more about it if you want to know about it, Michelle. You can write back in. Apologise first. All they've done is put up people's tax and the bills have gone up too high, says Shirley. You're talking about Labour? Yes. Michelle Claire Richards. Ex-media is the point, I think, says Greg Galvin. Well, no. And then Michelle's jumped in again. She's obviously wants to have a go at me. Let her have a go at me, will you? I can handle myself. I asked him, not you, she said. Well, I think I've just put you right. Do you accept what I'm saying now? I've watched some of these people who are the non-paid media. Oh, the warriors. It's only because they've got a small audience they're getting away with the libel, the slander, and the defamation. You know, I'm a professional, and I think that's important. I think my 30 years experience is quite important. I'm sure I could mend a toilet if I put my mind to it, but I wouldn't do it as well as a plumber, would I? Why do you want to knock my professional expertise? Especially when you're listening to me. Why don't you donate a £5? When Lammy was on Mastermind, he thought he was on Pointless. He did really. He got 0 points. That's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Shirley Mooney, they've all betrayed us with their broken promises and told lie after lie after lie. It's time they all went now and closed the bloody door behind them. I am with you, my friend. Here's Jim Garfield. Look at that. He's just put in a £5. Jim, thank you. Lisa, get the audit sheet out. That's 3 now. From their manifesto, he says, Labour will restore confidence in government and ensure ministers are held to the highest standards. They did say that. Do you feel they've done that, John? He says, you sarcastic git. Nice one, though, and thank you for your donation. It's really appreciated, Jim. Craig Moore Marson, John, I think we need to get stocked up on food before Lammy starts to spend thousands more on food, the fat sod. I don't know where that's come from, but it obviously meant something to you. Gary Mason Martin has just reposted the stream. Thank you. Don't forget, if you want to help me, the way to do it is to press that like button, but also to tell all your friends that Jon Gaunt TV is here. And for over the last few days, loads of people have subscribed to my YouTube channel. It's called Jon Gaunt TV. You just subscribe. I hate that word subscribe because it makes it sound like you got to pay. You don't. It's free on YouTube. So just find Jon Gaunt TV. Then you'll see a little button that says subscribe. Press that. Then you'll see a bell. Press that because that means you'll get notifications every time I'm doing a show. Like tonight, I've done a show at 6. Don't normally do one on Friday. You've probably found it by accident. You would have been told about it. And you can see all the archive of my shows there as well. So if you'd like to do that, and I'm learning how to do YouTube. I was not on YouTube before. So if you want to know, that's the way to do it. So Gary Martin's reposted the stream. It sounds, I don't even know what that means. It sounds good though, doesn't it? Daz Wellings, can't wait until PMQs with Lammy when Starmer or Starling, that's a good name for him, Starling, is away. Absolute useless, hopeless, embarrassing government. God help us all, Gaunty. You know what though? Lammy is quite a bright guy. And he's done well in his life, hasn't he? It's just that he comes out with such thick statements sometimes, especially in the past. They're doing what that puppet Biden was trying to do, import the next generation of left-wing voters. Well, I didn't agree with you about this before, Greg, but more and more, it makes me think that, yeah, they're gerrymandering, aren't they? Trust my words when I say Mahmood will grant them all an amnesty. She'd be a very brave woman if she does that, but I have been predicting that. I've been predicting an amnesty for months. That's how they're going to cut the figures. Just like I predicted they'd move them out of the hotels into HMOs, and I was right. And that is a worry. I agree with you, Michael Yates. Ian Passy, you're too wokey-cokey to get arrested. Probably up for another MSM job. Oh, so you're having a go at me, is that you having a go at me? You're too wokey-cokey to get arrested. Probably up for another MSM job. Well, I would like to get an MSM job, because I think what I'm saying is important. So if I get to a bigger audience, that's great. Also remember, I was a punk rocker and I was into music. Who was it? It was the Jam. The Jam signed to a major label, and somebody said to Paul, Wouldn't you rather be on stiff or something? He said, well, sometimes in life you have to compromise if you want to get your message out there. I thought he's right. So, Ian, I don't know what your problem is. Are you trying to have a go? If you're trying to have a go, have a real go. I'm wokey cokey. No, I think you'll find that means I'm balanced and I'm not slandering and defaming people left, right, and centre. But it's up to you. You don't have to listen. It's not the BBC. You don't even have to contribute unless you want to. Why are people who are so I'm so radical? Why do they see everything through the prism of the mainstream media, which is what he's just done? Mahmood will send the boats back empty to be refilled. Thank you very much. Hey, Gaunty, I'm not paranoid. I've just seen all this coming years ago, since evil Tony Blair times. I'm aware. Good for you, Paul. Oh, Daz, you're a top man. Lisa, get your audit. You're going to have to extend it today. Daz Wellings has just contributed a tenner. And he says, keep going, Gaunty. Get yourself a flag and a pole. Thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate that, I tell you. So I'm doing really well tonight. Thank you. Don't let it stop you, though, if you'd like to contribute as well. You get your name on the screen as well. So you're supporting independent broadcasting. Jammy, no, his name's Lammy, isn't it? Jammy Lammy, he's Deputy PM, God help us. Do you remember ages ago when I used to talk about Lammy, and I used to call him Trevor Lammy, because a guy who I went to the same junior school that girl was talking about today, Hill Farm, he came to school. He came to our school. He's one of the first black kids, I think, to come. This is in the 60s. His name's Trevor Lammy, and he was a fantastic footballer. He lived at the top of Bulwer Road. I think he was from somewhere like Sierra Leone. And I only knew what Sierra Leone was from the football stickers we used to get during the World Cup, because they got in it once. Great footballer. Very nice guy. I don't know where he is now, but I'll tell you something. It'd make a better job than the Lammy who's... Now I'm getting them mixed up. Which one's the politician? David. Trevor Lammy. I wonder whether he listens. Craig Urquhart. Can't believe GB News ain't got you on yet, John. No. I think I upset them during the COVID bit. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I think I'm probably too old as well now. They use a lot of young presenters, don't they? And they've got their old fogey. They've got Mike Parry, so they probably think they don't need another one. But there again, we'll see. I'm not slagging them off. If they want to offer me some slots, I'll do it. I'd love to do it. Love to do it. I think they're doing a brilliant job at the moment. I really do. Today's coverage was tremendous. And that Christopher Hope, the political guy, he's out of this world, he is. Jackie Ward sent me 3 love hearts. Jackie, you are a love heart. You really are. Steve Palmer says it's a Titanic deck chair reshuffle. It certainly is. John, did that Paul Thorpe apologise to you? No, he didn't. But I actually looked him up afterwards. He's quite an interesting guy. So I kind of feel that I owe him half an apology. I did say to him, please don't, go off on a tangent in the discussion. But then I looked at his thing, and that's what he does. He lets people just start having different conversations. I think it's because I come from a phone-in background. You like to orchestrate it, bring this caller in, bring that guest there, da-da-da-da-da. So maybe I was a bit harsh. But when I'm on air, imagine how hard it is just to keep talking and to think about what you're doing. So I think I was a bit rough to him. So he's probably listening because he needs ideas. So if you're listening, I apologise to you. What's his name again? Paul Thorpe. And I thought some of his stuff was very, very interesting, actually. Some of it was absolute bollocks, but that's like my stuff, I guess. But yeah, he's got thousands of subscribers, so he's obviously doing something right, isn't he? So that's a kind of apology. Michael Yates, Lammy is a Tottenham fan. It's going to go all Spursy for as well. Well, we're going to have to sack the chairman. That's what I want to do. Sack Starmer. 1 full minute without sucking up to Farage. That's a new record, Gaunty. Who doesn't appreciate it? Don't do the Talk TV softball Farage for free, pal. Are you giving me tips on broadcasting? You being such a brave man, you've actually got an avatar that isn't a picture of you. It's a picture of Muttley, isn't it? And you call yourself the Bristol Channel. You're a big, brave political warrior, aren't you? Unlike me, using my own name, my own image, my own face, etc., etc., I don't suck up to Farage. If you watch my programmes or you listen to what I say, I'm often slagging him off. But at the moment, he's the best hope we've got. Don't come on here and insult me unless you know your facts, dickhead. Michael Yates, just read that one. David Marks, you haven't said anything, David. What are we doing? Just testing whether it works. Jeremy Kyle is on GB News. He's 60, so you could get on. Yeah, but he's a good-looking boy, isn't he? Jeremy used to be a big fan of mine, actually. I also said something nice. I thought when the witch hunt against him started, I thought it was wrong because he was doing a program that they wanted. And so I defended him in my column in The Sun, and he was really grateful for it because everybody was slagging him. I just told the truth. If I didn't agree with him, I'd have said whatever I would have said. That's why I don't like it when people say, well, you're sucking up to Farage. I'm not. But you tell me what the alternative is. And don't say Rupert Lowe. He hasn't even got a party. And Ben Hibby, well, he's doing well. He's building his numbers. But he ain't going to be ready to form a government. I mean, Farage is going to have a difficulty, isn't he? But we can't carry on like this. There'll be nothing to govern if we allow Starmer to continue. I don't know what the answer is. I'm sorry, I don't. GB News, have a word with Nigel, if you still have his number. Yes, I have. I saw Nigel a lot when I was doing bits for GB News. Excuse me. I was also one of the first people ever to give Nigel radio interviews. I think that's when I was on BBC London, because a lot of people thought he was a fascist at the time. I also, on the day that he had his air crash, he was meant to be coming in to talk to me, and I was doing Sun Talk at the time. That's where I was. I was working for the Sun doing a radio show for them. You know, like they bought Talk Radio and all that. But before that, I was the one who did it first, and I did it, set it up on their site. And I buzzed through to Chris, who was my producer, editor, great guy, old Fleet Street hack. He's now Richard Littlejohn's, or always was Littlejohn's editor. And I said, where the fuck's Farage? The audience can hear this because it was on Talkback. And he said he's had a plane crash, which is the last thing you expect somebody to say, isn't it? I went, nah, you're pulling me blanca. No, he had a crash. Remember when he had a crash in Buckinghamshire, wasn't it? Right? I should have known better, because when I first started out in radio, I was on BBC Coventry and Warwickshire when it had an audience. And we're doing the show, and suddenly all the lights fluttered and the power went. And then it came back on. I said, what was that? Has a plane crashed? And the producer woman said, yes. And do you remember when at Coventry Airport they were transporting, it was a horrible thing, they were transporting live calves for veal out to Belgium or somewhere. And yeah, the plane had come down and crashed, and 2 or 3 people on the plane died. It was a tragic incident. But it taught me never to make a joke. But then obviously I forgot about that when I got to the Sun. So yeah, God, that was terrible times. The bloke who ran it was called Barrett Jolly. He was a right snob, and he was making thousands. He lived in a big house in a place called Frankton near Rugby on the outskirts of Coventry. And I got him on because I used to do the Post when I was a student. And the guy I did the Post with was a guy called Bob. And the point of my story is his daughter was Jill. Do you remember the girl who got crushed under the wheels of a lorry? She was a lot younger than me. Beautiful, beautiful girl. A beautiful girl. And she was an animal liberationist and all this. And I used to have her on the program, and her friend, she had a friend called Jeanette, who was a much older lady. And they argued their case about why they thought transporting veal was wrong, live. And I thought, I was sympathetic to them, very sympathetic. I thought it was wrong. There's no need to do it. I just thought it was horrible, horrible, horrible. But they had other ideas. They were typical, animal, what do you call it? Lovers, mad, bit fanatical. But she got crushed under the wheels of this Barrett Jolly's lorry. And because I knew her, and I knew her because of her dad, I used to do the Post with him at Christmas. There was a kind of connection there. He's passed away now. Obviously, she has. And she had a wild brother. Can't remember his name. But anyway, they were formative times in my radio career, because it's only when you deal with tragedy, misery for other people, that you make the best radio. I'm got off on one again, haven't I? I do apologise. But it was an interesting time. Anyway, I got him on one day and I'd slaughtered this guy. Absolutely slaughtered him. And afterwards, he was in a radio car. He turned around to the technician guy and said, flipping heck. He had one on him. He said, oh, no, that's going to be quite mild. Anyway, this guy, in the end, he got done for drug smuggling into, I think it was Bournemouth Airport. They had these big old planes, Air Atlantique or something like that, I think they were called. And they'd been importing drugs. He used to be a gun runner. He had a fascinating background, but he then tried to make a load of money out of transporting little calves, separating them from their mums, and horrible. And also, have you had veal? I can't see the point myself on a practical level. Anyway, Jeremy Kyle is on. No, I've read that one. Gaz Wellings, have a word with Nigel. I don't know whether that'll work. Would you join Reform as an MP? No. I made that mistake before. I was going to do UKIP. No. Hi, John. I bought you a coffee in 2007 when I purchased your autobiography, Undaunted. I will buy you another one, though. Oh, so did you enjoy the book? I hope you did. Did you get the one without the autograph in? They're the most fabulous. They're the most valuable. Craig Urquhart, Magic. Laugh out loud. What's that mean? And Talk to Me Radio, says Daz Wellings. That was my thing with the Sun. You mean Talk Radio? I wouldn't have got no chance of getting on there. I can remember when you commentated on Sky Blue's first match at the Rico. Yeah, I was the guest summariser, wasn't I? I also had a room, the Jaguar Lounge, for businessmen who wanted to get drunk. And I opened it. So my name's on this plaque. But then when they sold it to that scab rugby club, they took it down. So it's no longer there. I went looking for it the other day. Probably ended up in the skip. I'd have liked to have kept that. But anyway, such is life. Anyway, when that was when I was famous, wasn't it? It's a long time ago. Right, I've had enough. I'm going now. I'm going to look after my little doggy, see what's on the telly, chill out. I've had quite a good day today, and I really enjoyed my show. So thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who's donated tonight. And I'm sure Lisa would like to thank you as well. You're very kind, and it's making it happen for me. So thank you, because I was in a terrible place for a few years after I'd had my sepsis, right? But I guess I'm proof you can get back. It's hard, and some days I'm as depressed as fuck, I tell you. But then when you have a good time, and I've got mates, I've got some really good mates, and that always helps, doesn't it? And that lady from Hill Farm School, I want to know exactly who you are. I said, what did you look like? She said, I was taller than the average. It's like, oh, great. Inspector Morse could work with that, couldn't he? Did you see the villain? Yes. What was he like? It was taller than average. Is that it? Anyway, but she had some good political views. I'll give her that. Right, I'm off. John, thank you for another awesome work. Thank you. Maggie Young, there she is. What would I do without you, Maggie, and without Jackie and your love hearts and your claps? She's given me 5 claps and a heart, a sky blue heart, because she's a sky blue fan as well. Thank you very much indeed. No football this weekend, is there? International weekend. So I don't know what the hell I'm going to do tomorrow. Anyway, stop it. Anyway, I remember you having Nigel on Talk to Me Radio when you was in Brentford, West London. Yeah, that used to be a joke. That studio is still there, you know. We've been talking about maybe using it again. I don't know, because the technology's moved on now. You don't necessarily need a big radio studio, do you? I've now got a fly walking across my screen. Anyway, that's fascinating. I'll see you soon. Let me go now, please. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. I'll do one on Sunday, by the way, not tomorrow. I'm having a day off. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Don't forget to tell them you love them. And thank you today for some of the things that have brought back some quite happy memories for me. And Craig Urquhart can finish off by saying, legend, John. Thank you. See you soon. See you Sunday, sometime on Sunday. All the best. Bye.